Have you recently found yourself waking up in the dead of night, reaching for the bathroom light switch, only to realize that the floor's edge seems much less distinct than it used to be? Perhaps those distant streetlights, which once offered a gentle, soft glow, now appear as distorted, uncomfortable halos of blurred light. If this sounds familiar, you are not imagining these changes. This experience is a completely real and incredibly prevalent challenge we face as we age, the silent, gradual deterioration of age-related night vision. For many of my patients, this decline progresses so subtly, so quietly, that they don't even recognize the problem until it begins to significantly obstruct their daily function. We're talking about real-life interference struggling to drive confidently after dusk, compromising your safety while walking on an unlit path, or even the pain of not clearly seeing the beloved face of a family member in a dimly lit room. I've had wonderful patients come to my office with true heartache telling me, "Doctor, my vision has gotten so poor that I can no longer read a bedtime story to my granddaughter at night." That is the deep, genuine pain we are addressing today, the inability to see clearly in those moments that truly matter. Let's talk about your symptoms. Before we dive into the solutions, let me ask you a few direct questions. I need a clear picture of what you're experiencing. When you transition from a brightly lit area to a dark room, how long does it take for your vision to adjust? Are you momentarily blinded? Do you find yourself squinting more often to make out road signs or faces when the light is low? Have you noticed a significant drop in your contrast sensitivity, the ability to distinguish an object from its background, especially in fog or at night? Finally, are your eyes feeling noticeably drier or more fatigued in the morning than they used to? These symptoms are critical indicators. But here is the profoundly hopeful part, and it's the core of our discussion today. Did you know your body is actually programmed to repair your eyes while you sleep? That's absolutely correct. Just as your skeletal muscles undergo a vital recovery process overnight, your delicate retinal tissue, the cornea, and the optic nerve all engage in microscopic restorative processes as you rest. And even more exciting for you is the discovery that there are specific, accessible foods you can consume that are shown to actively support and enhance this essential nighttime eye repair. I'm not talking about expensive pills or complex treatments, we're talking about simple nourishment. Today we continue our focused series on natural foods that offer protection and repair for aging eyes, but with a remarkable twist. Because this time, we are diving deep into the power of fermented foods. Fermented foods, your vision's internal allies. These often underrated foods offer benefits that extend far beyond simple gut health. They have the documented ability to support your visual system from the inside out, providing crucial support, particularly during your sleep cycle. In fact, one of the incredible foods we'll be discussing later in this session has demonstrated extraordinary potential in actively promoting vision recovery overnight. We've saved that powerful one for the end, so I encourage you to stay with me. If you're looking for more practical evidence-based methods to keep your body sharp and strong as you navigate aging, please go ahead and subscribe. We are building a truly supportive community here. All right, let's begin to explore precisely how these humble, tangy, fermented foods could help restore the clarity with which you see the world, particularly when the lights dim. Let's begin with a food so fundamental and simple that you may not have realized its profound capacity for your eyes. Yogurt. Yes, that small creamy cup sitting right there in your refrigerator might just be one of the most powerful, yet completely unappreciated tools for boosting your nighttime ocular repair. You are likely already familiar with probiotics, the live beneficial bacteria found abundantly in fermented dairy, like yogurt. But here is the crucial piece of information most people overlook. Probiotics do not just optimize digestion, they actively shape and modulate the entire immune response throughout your body, including the sensitive environment inside your eyes. When we consume yogurt that is rich in quality probiotics, particularly specific strains like Lactobacillus, rhamnosus, and Bifidobacterium lactis, we are strategically strengthening the intestinal wall lining. This action helps to gently calm down an overactive or inappropriately triggered immune system. This balance is immensely important for your vision, because the retina, that paper-thin light-capturing layer of tissue at the back of your eye, is highly vulnerable to the effects of inflammation. Even very mild chronic inflammation can subtly damage your essential photoreceptor cells, dangerously reduce your contrast sensitivity, and accelerate conditions like age-related macular degeneration. However, when your gut microbiome achieves this crucial state of balance, it naturally begins to produce beneficial short-chain fatty acids, SCFAs. These powerful compounds travel through your bloodstream and directly help to nourish your eyes. They work to strengthen the tiny, delicate blood vessels that supply your retina, effectively reducing oxidative stress and helping to meticulously maintain the protective barrier at the back of your eye. And here is where the timing of your consumption becomes a significant factor. Consuming yogurt in the early evening, ideally within an hour or two before you go to sleep, can measurably enhance this restorative effect. Why? Because as you sleep, your body naturally enters its most profound repair and recovery mode. Inflammation naturally subsides. Blood flow to the retina tends to improve. And your cells are given the optimal opportunity to rebuild damaged tissue. Yogurt delivers an immediate and helpful boost to that process precisely when it's needed. One of my patients, Ellen, a wonderfully consistent woman, simply started incorporating a few spoonfuls of plain Greek yogurt into her evening routine after dinner. Nothing dramatic or complex. Just a month later, she mentioned quite casually, "You know, doctor, my eyes don't feel quite as dry in the mornings anymore, and driving at night feels noticeably less harsh somehow." Of course, yogurt is not a magical cure-all, but what it does achieve is the creation of the right internal environment where deep, sustained healing becomes possible, gently, progressively, and through your body's own natural mechanisms. My professional advice: if you enjoy yogurt, always choose one that is plain, completely unsweetened, and clearly labeled with live and active cultures. Have it after your evening meal. Let your digestive system and your visual system go quietly to work, while the rest of you is sound asleep. Next, we move to a fermented food that is satisfyingly crunchy, distinctively tangy, and absolutely packed with unexpected benefits for maintaining and protecting your vision. Sauerkraut. If we establish that yogurt is the creamy helper, then sauerkraut is definitively the crunchy fighter. Do not be misled by its very humble appearance. This perfectly fermented cabbage is heavily loaded with potent raw plant compounds and a high concentration of live probiotics that deliver a serious punch when it comes to safeguarding your eyes, especially during the nighttime hours. As cabbage undergoes fermentation, it becomes incredibly rich in Lactobacillus plantarum, a remarkably powerful probiotic strain known for its ability to repair the intestinal lining and fine-tune immune regulation. While this certainly sounds like gut health, and it is, its impact extends much further. This is because the gut is often the starting point for systemic inflammation. When your gut lining becomes even slightly leaky, microscopic molecules can slip into the bloodstream, triggering widespread low-grade chronic inflammation throughout the body, including in your eyes. Now take a moment to imagine your retina a highly delicate network composed of light-sensitive cells and microscopic blood vessels. It requires very little to cause this tissue to become inflamed. Once that inflammatory process begins, it silently disrupts blood flow, structurally weakens cell membranes, and accelerates age-related damage. Sauerkraut actively helps to interrupt this cycle before the damage reaches your eyes. First, it vigorously strengthens your gut barrier, drastically reducing the leakage of inflammatory particles into your circulatory system. Subsequently, it helps stimulate the production of natural antioxidants, such as glutathione, which directly combat the oxidative stress occurring inside your eyes. Even more impressive is sauerkraut's content of compounds like sulforaphane, also found in broccoli sprouts, which have been rigorously studied for their remarkable ability to shield retinal cells against oxidative destruction and measurably improve microcirculation. Crucially, all of these protective processes occur with peak efficiency at night when your body makes its critical shift into full detox and recovery mode. Think of it this way. Your bloodstream is your body's essential nutrient delivery system. Sauerkraut helps to keep that system clean, smooth, and freely flowing. This ensures that oxygen and vital nutrients can efficiently reach the cells at the back of your eyes while you are sleeping. My professional advice: you don't need a large amount. Just a small forkful of raw, unpasteurized sauerkraut alongside your dinner is enough to begin rebuilding that vital protective network within your gut, simultaneously giving your eyes the consistent circulation support they urgently require. I've personally observed patients presenting with early-stage retinal issues demonstrate measurable improvements in their microvascular blood flow after just a few weeks of consistently adding fermented vegetables to their meals. It requires no complex intervention, just proper timing and consistency. We're still only halfway through our vital list. Up next, a fermented drink that is all too often overlooked, yet may very well be one of the most powerful elixirs for overnight vision recovery that we have encountered in our research, Kefir. Now we shift from something crunchy to a drink that is smooth, tangy, and surprisingly potent. Kefir, for those who haven't experienced it, is a fermented milk beverage. Think of it as a thinner drinkable yogurt, but with a more distinct zing. Housed within this unassuming drink is one of the richest sources of diverse probiotics on our planet. We are discussing the presence of an astonishing 30 to 50 distinct strains of live bacteria and yeast, not just a paltry one or two. When it comes to enhancing vision recovery while you sleep, this diversity is paramount. Your gut is not a single simple monoculture. It is a complex, dynamic ecosystem. The greater the variety you introduce, the better your immune system can precisely regulate itself, and the more targeted, effective anti-inflammatory compounds your body is able to produce. But Kefir performs another unique function that neither yogurt nor sauerkraut can claim. During its fermentation process, it creates unique bioactive peptides. These small protein fragments have been studied extensively for their potential to improve blood pressure, measurably enhance microcirculation, and critically support the health and function of nerve tissue. Why is this a key point? Because your eyes require more than just efficient blood flow and robust antioxidants. They are critically dependent on healthy optic nerve function, especially when it comes to the complex tasks of low-light vision and accurate depth perception. And that is precisely where Kefir quietly but powerfully shines. One of my older patients, George, was struggling severely with darkness adjustment. Moving from a lit hallway into a dark room would leave him momentarily visually disabled, a very common complaint in aging eyes. We implemented one simple, non-invasive change: half a cup of plain Kefir in the evening. After only a few weeks, he told me with a genuine smile, "I don't bump into walls at night anymore." Of course, Kefir is not a panacea that cures every condition, but it delivers direct support to the exact systems that age-related night vision loss frequently impacts gut health: microvascular blood flow, nerve communication, and inflammation control. All coordinated while you are peacefully sleeping. My professional advice: to maximize the benefits of Kefir, choose plain, unsweetened varieties, whether made from cow, goat, or even non-dairy coconut milk. Shake it up gently, pour half a cup, and consume it slowly about 1 hour after your dinner. It is more than just a pleasant bedtime snack. It is direct, targeted nourishment for the most delicate parts of your visual system delivered exactly when they are in their most vital repair phase. Finally, let's conclude this essential list with something warm, savory, and deeply comforting. A fermented food that has been utilized for centuries in traditional healing and may represent one of the gentlest yet most effective ways to nourish your eyes right before bed. Miso soup. This deeply humble broth has been a staple for generations, not merely in Japanese kitchens, but in traditional medicine for its powerful ability to support immunity, optimize digestion, and promote full-body healing. However, what is truly compelling is the potential effect miso can have on your eyes, particularly during your sleep. Miso is created by fermenting soybeans using a starter culture known as koji, along with salt and often rice or barley. During this fermentation process, the complex soy proteins and starches are broken down into easily absorbed amino acids, potent antioxidants, and essential enzymes that your body can utilize almost instantly. When you thoughtfully drink a cup of warm miso soup in the evening, you are delivering a unique combination of compounds that work to regulate systemic inflammation, significantly reduce oxidative stress, and enhance blood flow to delicate tissues. Most notably, miso gently encourages your body to produce more nitric oxide, a crucial molecule that naturally relaxes blood vessels and dramatically improves microcirculation. This mechanism is far more important than you might initially realize. One of the often overlooked culprits behind poor night vision and constant eye strain is measurably reduced blood flow to the retina. As we age, the minute blood vessels supplying the retina and the optic nerve can become stiff and narrowed. When circulation slows down, nutrient delivery drops, and the eye loses its ability to efficiently repair itself at night. Miso helps to reverse this by stimulating nitric oxide production and simultaneously calming the nervous system. It establishes a perfect environment where blood flows more freely, effortlessly, reaching the back of the eye where it is most critically needed. Furthermore, the powerful antioxidants generated during the fermentation process may provide a significant layer of protection for retinal cells against oxidative damage, which is a major undeniable contributor to age-related vision decline. And there is another simple yet powerful benefit: the warmth. A cup of miso soup before bed helps to signal to your entire body that it is time to slow down and prepare to unwind. The soothing umami flavor, the gentle heat, the ease of digestion, it all collaborates to smoothly ease your transition into deep rest, which is precisely when your eyes begin their quiet, intensive repair work. One of my patients, May, who is 73, shared with me after 2 weeks of making miso soup a regular part of her evening ritual. My eyes don't feel so heavy at night anymore, and I find myself falling asleep much faster too. My professional advice: to obtain the maximum benefit, choose white or yellow miso. These are typically milder, lower in sodium, and fermented for shorter durations. Avoid boiling the soup directly, as excessive heat will destroy the live beneficial enzymes. Simply warm some water, stir in a teaspoon of miso paste, and sip it slowly in the early evening. This is a small, conscious act, but night after night it accumulates consistently, providing your body with the tools it needs to protect and restore one of your most precious senses while you sleep. Your personalized nighttime vision protocol. By now, you have learned that yogurt, sauerkraut, kefir, and miso soup are not simply beneficial for your gut. They hold the unique potential to actively help your eyes heal and restore themselves during sleep. But how do we translate this knowledge into a routine that is practical, sustainable, and easy for you to maintain? The excellent news is this: you absolutely do not need to consume all 4 of these foods every single day. That is not the goal of this protocol. What matters most is consistency, variety, and strategically choosing what works best for your individual body and your daily schedule. Begin by selecting just one fermented food that you already enjoy or feel genuinely curious about incorporating. If you are a committed yogurt consumer, start right there. If you appreciate a warm, soothing drink before bed, miso soup may be your perfect match. Once you have chosen your starting point, make it a dedicated part of your evening rhythm. Let it be a quiet, unhurried moment after dinner, a simple, clear signal to your body that deep rest and comprehensive repair are now underway. As you become comfortable with that one item, begin rotating the others strategically throughout your week. Perhaps you enjoy kefir on Mondays and Thursdays. You could add sauerkraut on the nights when you are having a salad or a more savory meal. And save miso soup for the evenings when you feel a little tense or particularly tired. Keep the plan flexible. Some nights you may skip it entirely, and that is perfectly fine. The central principle is to view these foods as long-term allies. Gentle, reliable support you can rely on again and again. And please remember, timing is crucial. These foods are most effective when they are enjoyed within a few hours of your bedtime. That is the critical window when your body begins its natural shift into its primary repair mode, and when your gut and your eyes begin their vital collaborative work. It truly takes so little, just a few spoonfuls, half a cup, or a warm, slow sip. But when done with intention and consistency, these small choices possess the power to support the systems that keep your vision clear, your eyes nourished, and your nights safer and brighter. You are not simply adding more to your daily plate. You are investing in your future clarity. If you have stayed with me through this entire explanation, I want to offer you a simple but deeply important statement. Thank you. Thank you for prioritizing your health and for generously giving yourself the time to learn something that has the potential to make a profound difference in your quality of life. You see, experiencing a bit of vision loss at night, struggling with darkness adjustment, or feeling that your eyes aren't quite what they once were, does not have to be the unwelcome beginning of the end. Instead, it can become the conscious beginning of something much better. Because once you truly grasp that your body retains the remarkable ability to repair itself, that your eyes are still fighting to protect your vision, it completely transforms the way you approach the aging process. You are not merely standing by watching life happen to you. You are actively and powerfully participating in your own healing. And that, to me, is the true meaning of empowerment. Whether it is just a spoonful of yogurt, a quick sip of kefir, a soothing bowl of miso soup, or the crunch of sauerkraut with dinner, these small choices made with intention, done consistently, have the power to shift how your body functions while you sleep. They offer direct support to your gut, they help to lower systemic inflammation, and they provide your eyes with the exact internal environment they need to fully repair, recover, and keep you connected to the vibrant world around you. Because vision is not just the act of seeing, it is about instantly recognizing the face of a loved one, having the clarity to read to a grandchild, being able to watch the quiet beauty of a sunset, and feeling safe when you need to get up in the middle of the night. You deserve to hold on to all of that for as long as humanly possible. You are not alone in this journey. You are not broken, and it is absolutely not too late to start. If this information has given you even one actionable idea or sparked a flicker of hope, I would be so grateful if you would give this a like, share it with someone you care about, or leave a comment below, and let me know what particular food or concept spoke most directly to you. And if this is your very first time with us, please subscribe. We are diligently building a community where aging is viewed as a process of power, not one of decline. Take excellent care of those incredible eyes, and I will see you in the next session.